Hey guys, we're back in Southeast Portland to finish up our porcelain panel project. Since we were here last, the plaster crew came in and applied the Tadelakt plaster to the walls. This is a waterproof plaster. It provides a really great finish. Obviously there's no grout lines. It's comparable to the porcelain panels as far as function, but it's much more cost effective. What makes this plaster waterproof is it will get an oil-based soap finish or wax that will react to the lime in the plaster, which creates a fully waterproof surface. My goal for today is to get the drain assembly set, get the grout lines done, and caulk the perimeter with a silicone for expansion joints. When I was here last, I installed the drain channel body, which gets waterproofed into the Schluter-Curdy system. What I'm going to install now is the drain cover. This is a tileable drain cover, and I have a piece of porcelain slab that has matching veins, so we'll have continuous full body color of the porcelain. These drains are really convenient. You can lift them out in the future to do any maintenance or cleaning. There's also this really handy strainer for catching any hair debris, which is easily removed and cleaned. First thing I'm going to do is put a scratch coat on the drain assembly and also put a scratch coat on the back of the tile to ensure proper bonding. Then I'm going to apply a notch, 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch notch to the back of the tile. Place the drain assembly in place, making sure that it's fitting flat and even in the drain body. Then I'm going to set the tile in and ensure that I'm moving it left to right, front to back to collapse my ridges. More importantly, I want to make sure that the tile is sitting flat to the surrounding tile so there's no lippage. If the drain tile needs to be removed and more thin set applied, I will do so. I want to check the reveals around the drain, make sure that I have even gaps all the way around. This nice even reveal around the drain grate will allow the water to escape. This makes for a very seamless look. It's easily cleanable, and the drain can be removed for maintenance. The next step I'm going to take is grouting the few grout joints in the shower pan. Once my grout's ready, I'm going to go ahead and apply it in the grout joint at a 45-degree angle with a fair amount of pressure. I'm going to come back the opposite direction and just ensure that I've packed the grout joint thoroughly and that it's full of grout. I'm going to use the edge of my grout float to clean the tile surface as best as possible, so when I sponge it, I have minimal cleanup to do. Once the grout has had some time to set up, I'm going to go ahead and start sponging. My preference is to use Ardex sponges. They have really crisp corners and they're nice and flat. So as I start to sponge, I'm going to try to come at it at an angle similar to installing the grout at about a 45-degree angle. I'm going to apply light pressure. I don't want to put too much pressure down because then you'll start pulling the grout out of the joint. So my first pass is going to be my shaping pass, which is basically going to flatten the grout and pull any imperfections out of it so I have a nice, clean, consistent line. You want to make sure that you don't over sponge it because you can affect the strength of the grout, and you can also wash too much grout out of the joint. Around the perimeter of the shower pan where the porcelain slabs meet the concrete, we made sure to leave an expansion gap. We're going to go ahead and use a siliconized acrylic caulking that matches the grout to fill that joint to allow for some expansion and contraction. Make sure to run tape lines on both surfaces so that your caulking does not spill out and make a big mess. I'm going to go ahead and apply the silicone caulking liberally and then come back with my finger and smooth it out. Try to keep it as flat as possible. Once the caulking is applied, I'm going to go ahead and pull my tape lines. Make sure that I'm left with a really crisp, clean line. If you have any spillover, you can go back and touch it up with your finger and a wet rag. The last thing I'm going to do is give the tile a nice wipe down with a microfiber rag. You can do a slightly damp rag and then a really dry rag to get any residue that might be left from grouting. That concludes our porcelain slab shower pan installation. I really enjoy working these porcelain panels. It's a great way to do a modern design as well as a really functional finish. Get minimal grout lines, very minimal maintenance, and you get a really seamless, clean look. Join us next time when we get the plumbing fixtures up and the glass panel goes in. Catch you then.